Welcome to the Travel People Podcast. I'm Juan Velasquez, your captain. During my conversations with travel industry experts, we will dive deep into discussion. We're going to learn about new products, why you should be booking with a travel advisor. And today, our special guest is the Carolina's own business development manager for Virgin Voyages, Tracy Aldridge, a good friend of mine. And he's going to share what makes Virgin pretty much stand out from the cruise industry. So if you sell travel, if you love to travel, or both, just come see the world with me and just relax, hoist your sails, and prepare for a journey that's going to be exciting on this episode of the Travel People Podcast. Hello, ahoy there, Mr. Aldridge.
Ahoy, Juan. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for inviting me to be a part of this exciting podcast today. I'm happy to be here, man.
So I love it. So what's going on in the background there? I always want to tease the background. So you have the whole world going on. You were just on a voyage, right?
Yeah, I just got off a couple of days ago off the Scarlet Lady. We have a little group in our neighborhood that every year at this time of year, we like to travel together to do a little birthday celebration. So we had about 13 of us on Scarlet, and I had a great time. You can see I got a little extra sun here. But yeah, I got the world behind me. That's just my reminder in my office that the world is a big place, but the world's also a small place. You know, we need to see it. We need to
Absolutely.
experience. I've got another sign on the wall over here that says Chase Adventure. So yeah, and that's what your podcast is really all about, is helping
Yeah,
people chase that adventure.
that's right. So Tracy, before we get any further, let's introduce our audience to you properly. Tell us a little bit about you and what you do for Virgin Voyages.
Yeah, I've been with Virgin for 19 months now. You know, we're still a very new company in the travel space. Started sailing actually with the first passengers back in 2021 or so, just 3 years ago. But I've been in the industry since 1991.
Wow.
Started as a tour guide for bus tours way back in the day. Enjoyed that. Learned a lot about how to fake it till you make it, if you know what I mean, with as a tour guide.
Yeah.
But fell in love with the travel industry. Been so blessed to be now part of the Virgin team for a couple of years. And this is just an awesome brand. And we'll talk more about that. But the experiences we offer folks is just wonderful.
So Tracy, that Southern drawl. So I'm guessing, you and I know each other, but our folks here listening in,
Right.
where exactly is that from?
Well, I am a native of the Charlotte, North Carolina region. There's only a few of us because most people that are here are from somewhere else, right? But yeah, I grew up here in the Carolinas. This is a true, just to use this term lightly, a true Southern redneck drawl. And the red kind of goes real well now with Virgin, so it all fits in.
I guess I can categorize myself in that little bubble then now because I wear red everywhere I go, and people look at me and oh, there goes one. They can identify me really well.
It looks
So
good. We
Tracy,
appreciate you representing the brand as you go there, man.
you know what? We can't get enough of it, and the boss lady and I we're getting ready to set sail again. We're not letting anyone know just yet where, but we do have some plans. But you'll see them. You'll see them soon. You'll definitely see them soon. For now, we have other products that we've participated with that we're going to partner throughout the summer. But Virgin is in our hearts, and we love the product and what it stands for. So, being that, tell us what it is about the product that stands out the most, and why people should be booking this.
Yeah, one, I think it really starts with our patriarch, if you will, Sir Richard Branson. If you know anything about Mr. Branson, he is a unique person from top to bottom. He is has been around in the public eye for close to 60 years now, 50 some years. Started Virgin Records many years ago, and of course, gosh, there's 40 some different Virgin brands out there. If you've ever flown on the Virgin Airlines, if you've ever stayed at one of the Virgin hotels, it's just different. And that's what attracted me to Virgin Voyages. Nothing against the other major cruise lines out there. They do a wonderful job, and we're grateful that they've done such a great job over the years, because that just makes it easier for a new brand to be successful. But Mr. Branson brings such a new perspective to every industry he comes into. He disrupts it, he changes it. And that's what's happening with us. He took the things that he didn't really enjoy about ocean cruising and changed them. And that's what Virgin really does as well. It's much more like a floating resort experience than it is a traditional cruise experience. And we can go into the particulars of that, but that's just a good introduction of, if you want something different, if you're looking for something totally unique, you're looking for something that's fun and open to everyone, Virgin is where you need to start.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, and that's great. Mr. Branson is absolutely one of those geniuses that understands how to pivot a brand and without even owning the brand.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
He'll go into an industry, and unbeknownst to him, he was never in it, but he pivoted the industry completely, and that's what's happened with Virgin, at least, right? We've seen other cruise lines fall in line and say, you know what, we're going to go ahead and adjust and make that pivot as well. So they've kind of set, the tone for what's next in the future. But what I find interesting is some of the misconceptions, right? You hear it around the campfire or, the watering hole. You hear, well, I'm not sure that's for me. It's too risky. I prefer a different type of adult atmosphere. Tell us about how those clients can be not convinced, because I'm not in the business of convincing anyone. But tell us about those clients. How can we speak to those clients?
yeah. You make a really good point, Juan, and that's one reason I think I'm here in the South as a true Southerner. Because let's just be honest, we're in the Bible Belt here. We're sort of at the buckle of the Bible Belt here in the South. And in the South, when you say adults only, most of us start thinking, oh, there's something going on there, right? If the kids can't come there, this is not rated PG anymore. That's not the case. And you also look back to our early marketing. As we started the brand, we had to make a splash, and we had to kind of make ourselves different from everyone else. And so we leaned heavily into that adults only. And with that, some of our marketing images showed people having a good time, which everybody shows that. But with no kids in there, it made people think, what is this all about? Is this a little risque? Is it over the top? And the truth is, it's not. I mean, once you get on there and experience it, and the adults only thing is really not what defines us as a brand. It's definitely one thing that helps sell us, because so many people have come to me and said, when I step on board your ship and I realize for the next 5 to 20 days, whatever it might be, that I'm not going to have to deal with my kids or anyone else's kids, it completely changes my mindset. And I think that's the truth, that the vibe on the ship is so much different than you'll experience anywhere else. I know some of the other cruise lines have their adults only areas, and that's great, but you still have to leave that at some point, and you
That's
have to
right.
go back
Yeah.
to the general population. So it's really not what some people want it to be as a party ship. There's some great resources on our website. There's great resources through travel professionals like you that are testimonials from guests from 35 to 85 who say it's what you want it to be. If you want to stay up till 2 a.m. and stay in the manor and have a nightclub experience and dance and have a great time with your friends, you can do that. But if you want to be like me, who's a 55-year-old man who's ready just to go to bed about 9:30 every night, maybe watch a movie in the cabin, sign me up. It's really what you want it to be, and I think that's what people realize once they're on the ship. It's preconceived notions just fly away, and they're like, "Man, I can make this whatever I want."
Yeah, that's really great the way you pointed that out. I love that explanation, because what turns out to become an uncomfortable conversation a lot of times with potential clients turns out to be a more intriguing conversation of interest and, oh, tell me more, show me more. So we love having those tough conversations because A, it makes us better travel advisors, and B, it shows that we support a brand that we really love, so it builds interest. But I remember getting on the first time.
Everyone
I
remembers the first time.
remember my expectations were super high, and boy, was I already blown away. Obviously, I had the backing of having all the information given to us about what to expect and what places to dine at and when to what shore excursions, etc. But my favorite feature probably is something that most people would overlook. I love the fact that you go into the room and there's a mood setting. I love the fact that my terrace and in the cruising world, of course, Virgin Voyages calls their balconies terraces. So the balcony, for those who are listening, um, the whole aspect of having a hammock and then a mood setting, that was it. I didn't want to leave the room. Someone told me they were like, "Well, where's Juan?" I said, "Well, I'm enjoying the room."
That's
How
right.
often do you do that? You go to a cruise or get on a cruise ship and you get in the room and you just want to leave your bags, right? You want to hit the bar. No, I wanted to hit that hammock and just relax.
If I had a nickel one for every picture I've seen on social media with people's toes in the air in that hammock, right? Looking out over the ocean, out of their terrace, out of their balcony. It is as the iconic picture of the first time traveler with Virgin. They go in there, the curtains open up. You know, when you open that door for the first time, your curtains open up and it's like an oh moment. And you see how beautiful the room is. And then you see that red hammock hanging out there on the balcony in here or the terrace. And I got to try that out. And you get in that thing, and then 2 hours later, you wake up wiping the slobber off the side of your face. Saying, oh my gosh, I fell asleep in this thing. Right.
So, being that, tell us about your cruise in the Med. Tell us about that experience. Tell us a story of something that probably should have happened, or maybe went wrong, or maybe was out of this world.
Yeah. Well, let me kind of start this by describing that there are different vibes to different cruises based on where you're going and how long you're going to be there. And you know this as a travel professional, you deal with clients all the time who say, "What's the difference between a 4 night sailing in the Caribbean versus a 7 night sailing in the Mediterranean?" And there really is a night and day difference. It's got a lot to do with the clientele and their attitude about what they want to see. I say that there's oftentimes two different types of travelers on a cruise. There's the sun and fun traveler who wants to have a great time, lay in the sun, enjoy the beach. Then there's also a cultural traveler. And oftentimes that's the same person depending on where you might be. Now, last year, I got to travel to Athens, Greece, and do the Adriatic Sea and Greek gems experience. Now, I love that Croatian coastline. It is unspoiled. It's not over touristed yet. It's not really
Yeah.
been discovered by a lot of people. You, as a travel professional, may have to kind of explain to people where it is. It's the former Yugoslavia coastline area. Absolutely beautiful. A lot of Italian influence through there. You might know in Split is where Diocletian's palace is located, who was a Roman emperor. It's really a beautiful part of the world. It's got a great collection of cultures and food and scenery. The mountains, the coastline, the beaches are fantastic. And on those sailings, you really do get to experience a great culture and also the sun and fun at the same time. And here's a funny story. We stop at 4 different ports on the Adriatic Sea. We start there in Athens, we go up to Split, and then we do Dubrovnik, and then down to Kotor. Now, Kotor is a lesser known port. A lot of places don't, a lot of cruise lines don't even stop there. It's in Montenegro, so that's a new country you can check off your list. And Montenegro is still somewhat closely tied to Russia and to that former Eastern Bloc. There's a different feeling in that port. You see the Cyrillic letters everywhere. It is a little bit of a step back in time. But it is a beautiful, romantic place. It's the traditional old historic European village with streets that wind, cobblestones. Here's something funny that happened. There's a couple trails you can kind of hike, and it had just rained before we came in. And I'm sailing with my other friend Juan. You know Juan Rodriguez,
Yeah,
one of our
my
competitors.
my doppelganger.
That's right. You guys are cut from the same cloth, and he's fantastic. We decided we're going to try to do a little hike. You got to be careful if it's wet and it's all stones, and they have signs every warning you. I almost took a tumble a couple of times, and there were a few cats along the way that sort of looked at me like, "You're definitely not a cat, dude." They were eyeballing me like, "Old man, you better just go the other direction today." So I could just see myself coming back from this trip with a broken leg or something from trying to climb the wrong trail in Couture. But it was a beautiful day, beautiful experience there. Our sailors enjoyed every minute of it. So find those adventures, even in these little lesser known areas. That's what I encourage folks to do. And working with someone like you can kind of give them that little bit of knowledge, that little bit of heads up on what to look for.
Yeah, working with somebody like me, I might just jump on the ship and go with them,
You,
which
you are the
I have
consummate
done.
professional. Yeah, that's right. You'll hold their hand the whole way if need be, right?
I think there's only one other person that I know in this industry that actually physically does that is Henry Montanez, and he'll be a guest soon this year on the podcast here with the Travel People. So moving along, so some of the tips and things that I tell some of my clients when they go on board or go resort or is there is the opportunity to do laundry on board, right? And so
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell people pack light, pack light, get on that flight that, allows you to carry on and save your money so you can spend it on other great things. Now, on Virgin, the great thing is that just about everything is included with the exception of your adult beverages, right?
Right.
But some travel advisors like me may give you a little bit extra bump. But with that being said, laundry is so important, right? So I tell clients about laundry day and why they should be packing light and et cetera, et cetera. What are some of the tips that you can tell them specifically about Virgin that you may have seen or experienced yourself?
Yeah. First tip is we're a relaxed cruise line. So don't feel like you have to pack your nicest ball gowns or your coat and ties, or, if you're a traditional cruiser, you know that there's a certain night on the ship that everyone dresses up and tries to impress people. We have a night on the ship in where you just wear some red. It's called Scarlet Night. You can dress up, you can dress down, you can be whatever. It's not a formal night, but it is a night that you can have a great time. We have a packing list, by the way, and you know this as a travel professional. You can share that packing list. If you want to know what to wear for the PJ party, we always have a PJ party the first night of the sailing, and then we have Scarlet Night. And so don't overpack. You make a really good point. Pack light. Bring stuff that's comfortable. We don't care how you're dressed when you come to dinner. We don't care, as long as you're respectful. You do need to don't wear your
Right.
string bikini maybe out to the wake, but be respectful. Uh, and you mentioned laundry. On that 7-night sailing I did in the Adriatic, I just took enough clothes for about 4 days. On Wednesday or so, it's a Sunday to Sunday. So on Wednesday, I packed a bag up, sent it off to laundry. You can fill this huge bag, and it's $30, I think, or something like that. And you send it off. They fold your clothes for you. It comes back folded in the bag. Man, I just put it away. Same stuff I would wear the rest of the week. So pack light. Be conscious of the fact that you're not going to have to try to impress anybody. Just be very comfortable as you go. Plan ahead as much as possible. And working with you, that's the perfect thing to do. 45 days prior to sailing, go ahead and make those dining reservations. Go ahead and start making your shore experience reservations. Go ahead and line up things that you might want to do. There are some things you cannot sign up for until you're on board the ship, and that's fine. But that's why working with a travel professional who knows those tips and tricks is the most important thing to do. If you're listening to this and you work with Juan, obviously ask him, what's the must see, must do, and what should you go ahead and sign me up for in advance, and he'll take care of that for you.
That's a great point. And as you answered the next question, right? Why should you book with a travel advisor? And I'll drop the number as I will on every podcast here. 803-280-4727 is the number to call. Cruise Planners, the travel people. That is my agency, in which I am a travel advisor and franchise owner for a fantastic company that's been doing business in the cruising world and in the travel world for 30 years. But Tracy, as we wrap up here, and we've talked about, funny stories, we've talked about tips, we've talked about the importance of, um, the basics of the product. Tell us exactly why you particularly chose to work for this incredible company.
I, I can answer that pretty simply. As I mentioned, I'm in my 50s now. I'm heading toward the end of my career in the travel industry, and I've always wanted to work with an organization that is bigger than itself. And what I mean by that is an organization that wants to have an impact, not just on its employees and its customers, sailors in this case, but the rest of the world as well. And when I investigated what Virgin is about as a brand, that is exactly what it's trying to do. Just simple things like on the ship, we have no single use plastics. We have a great program to convert, seawater into fresh water. I mean, our ships are the most technologically advanced out there at saving water and resources. And growing up in the South, we didn't focus a lot on renewables and things like that. We're pretty behind the times on that. But I'm so happy now to work for a company that looks at things and says, there are better ways to do things, and we can be better stewards of this beautiful place that we've been given. And we go to some beautiful places all around the world. Why not work hard to keep it beautiful for that next generation down the way? And so I'm proud to work for the organization that does that. Whether we have cruise ships, airlines, hotels, it doesn't matter. It's the impact we can have on future generations.
That's fantastic. Hey, Tracy, I truly appreciate you coming on with us and officially launching the Travel People podcast with us. Of course, we went through so many different companies and we said we want to launch it with a bang, right? We want to be like Virgin, come in with a big splash. So why not feature Virgin Voyages on our first podcast? I truly admire all of the people who work for Virgin. It feels that every cruise and sailing, you make a new friendship with a new cast member, and it's everlasting and it shows throughout the product. It resonates all over from the captain on down. And I love the fact that everyone's equal on board and everyone's equally able to express who they want to be and how they want to provide their own ideologies to the world. And I love that self expression. So thank you so much for helping us launch this new podcast. But before we go, tell folks how they can book Virgin and why they should be booking Virgin through me. And first, I'll announce our website is www.thetravelpeople.co. If you're interested in travel, you can go ahead and contact me. But Tracy, how else can they contact Virgin?
Well, we just want them to contact us through you, Juan. They obviously can go to our website. And I always say this: the internet is great for looking, but you contact Juan when you're ready to make that booking, okay? Because obviously we work with the amazing travel team, and your organization, Cruise Planners, is the best of the best out there in a lot of
We
ways. And they're
appreciate
one of
that.
our top partners. You are one of the best within CP, and the way that you treat your clients. I mean, people can tell by listening to the way you converse that you care about them. You care about their well-being. You care about them having the best experience they can have. And if you're not looking through a travel professional like Juan, you're wasting a lot of time and energy. You're not saving any money. As a matter of fact, you're leaving money on the table because Juan and organizations like Cruise Planners have some special treats that they get from us that you won't get just signing up through a website. So definitely work through your travel professional. They have some things they can do for you that you can't do for yourself, and it's stress-free. And once you kind of turn it over to Juan, there's nothing else you need to do. He will take care of everything for you. He'll send you the reminders. Hey, 45 days is coming up. Hey, your sailing's on this day. Don't forget to do this. Don't forget to do that. It's the best thing in the world to work with a professional who knows what they're doing. And let me tell you, there are a lot of people out there who are not professionals and who do not know what they're doing, but they call themselves a travel advisor. Work with someone like Juan and an organization like Cruise Planners, because they know what they're doing. And we really appreciate the relationship.
Tracy, that's truly kind of you. Thank you so much for being on. And with that being said, we want to thank our viewers for listening on to our first official episode. We look forward to bringing you more exciting news and updates and interviews as we go along. Thank you.